For the first time in at least 20 years, I just got done watching the movie Who's Harry Crumb? I was clicking around looking for something to watch, and on Fandango at Home, formerly Voodoo, I saw the thumbnail for Who's Harry Crumb when I was searching comedies. I immediately decided I had to watch this movie again because I remembered liking it when I was a kid in the 90s. I think the movie came out in 1989. I probably saw it a year or two later. I was born in the late 70s. I was a kid in the 80s, but I really started watching 80s movies probably more so in the 90s, aside from the kids' movies. 80s movies are very important to American pop culture, even people born well after the 80s. People love 80s stuff. They just do.
Welcome to the Cafe 80s, where it's always morning in America, even in the afternoon.
This movie sort of slipped through the cracks if you grabbed a random person and said, hey, name a few 1980s movies, or even if you said name a few 1980s comedies, or even if you said name a few John Candy movies, people probably wouldn't come up with Who's Harry Crumb?
Harry Crumb.
Who's Harry Crumb?
Which is sort of a shame. I think the movie has a lot of charm.
Sorry. Exactly.
But, to be honest, it wasn't as good as I remembered it being, which is kind of sad. That being said, I absolutely love John Candy in this movie. I have zero bad things to say about John Candy. You can tell from every second that he's on screen that he's enjoying himself. He's having fun being an actor, making a comedic movie. And that comes through in his performance. And you can tell that he just has a natural charisma. The people around him seem to like him.
Rather than listen to one more idiotic word!
I know they're acting and they're pretending that's what acting is. It's pretend time when you have the camera on you. But you can just sort of tell that the people around John Candy seem to actually like the guy.
I mean, look at the size of her head. She must be enormous. Be easy to find.
And that's hard to fake. It's like that with a lot of Adam Sandler movies. You may not like the movie itself, but you can tell that everybody making the movie has a good time making it, and that comes through in the movie and makes the movie better. That happens a lot in John Candy films, I've noticed. I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about John Candy. And this movie really is right up my alley. I love stupid comedies. I love The Naked Gun. I love Airplane. I love Mel Brooks. I love slapstick comedy. Mostly an innocent comedy about a dumb guy being dumb who accidentally saves the day. Sort of an Inspector Gadget. Sort of a Get Smart. Sort of a Leslie Nielsen in The Naked Gun. He's just a bumbling idiot, but a likable bumbling idiot. You want him to win. And when he makes the absolute wrong decision, you feel for the guy. I'd say if you watch about the first 5 or 10 minutes of the movie, you will know whether you want to watch the rest of the movie or not. It's either going to hit you the right way or the wrong way. And I don't mean that to be critical. I mean, obviously any movie you watch is either going to be good or bad for you. But I'm telling you, this movie is sort of specific where the tone of the movie is exactly the same throughout. So if you like the intro to the movie, if you think it's charming, if you think it's sort of amusing, you're going to like the rest of the movie.
Harry Crumb. It's for you.
If you think it's off-putting and the humor just doesn't click, turn it off immediately because it's not going to change. And I think that's a good thing, actually. The movie has a very consistent tone all the way through. The comedy that you see in the beginning of the movie is the same type of comedy you're going to see at the end of the movie. Very tonally consistent film, which is a good thing. You may like or not like the tone, but it's a good thing that it's a consistent tone. A lot of talented people in the movie. Annie Potts is great in the movie. She's most well known for her role as Janine in Ghostbusters, but she's at the top of her game here. She plays a greedy, conniving person who will go with whichever guy has the most money, and she's willing to do absolutely anything to get the money, and it doesn't really work out well for her in the end. And sort of a little timestamp, any movie that has Jeffrey Jones in it, you know, was filmed prior to his, we'll just say a scandal and leave it at that. But a lot of the movies from this period have that guy in it. And it just sort of marks it instantly. Oh, this is an 80s or 90s movie. That guy was just in a ton of stuff back then. And he was a good actor. He usually portrayed a guy that you didn't like, but you liked not liking him. And if you saw that guy in a movie, you knew that he was probably going to be not evil, but just a character that kind of annoyed you. That was his approach to comedy. That's the kind of roles he was cast in. And he was good at it. And he was in a ton of movies. And he had an excellent career up until when he didn't anymore due to things that I won't say on this channel. But yeah, the comedy didn't quite hit, although it has a charm to it. I mean, it did have its moments. I liked a lot of the silly dialogue. I liked a lot of the dumb physical comedy. Seeing John Candy as a horse jockey was pretty amusing. And that brings up another point. John Candy dresses up in different costumes and has fun being a character actor. Now, some of those costumes would not really be, might not be looked well upon in the mid-2020s. But in the 1980s, it was a different time. In the 80s, you could get away with a lot more. You could play a different ethnicity in the 1980s without it being super controversial. I don't think this movie would have been made today, but still, John Candy goes full throttle with the characters that he plays. As Harry Crumb, he dresses up in this costume and that costume, and you can tell that John Candy was having fun with it. And that's a good thing. The jokes don't seem as funny to me in my 40s as they did when I was in my teens, but I guess that's to be expected. But I'm glad I rewatched the film. Will I rewatch it again? Maybe. I kind of want to check out other John Candy films, though. Any recommendations in the comments? What's your favorite movie that John Candy ever did? Please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out a new channel. And thank you very much for watching Eric Wilfred Watson's Reaction Lounge. You can find me on X at Eric_W_Watson. Until next time, folks.